And here's how they're going to win.
Whoa.
When you're missing two of your top players, one on one side of the ball and Chris Jones, as of right now, he is not playing. He is not signed. He is not coming in. And then Travis Kelce, a guy who accounts for 25% of your receiving yards a year ago. That's a big chunk. On the offensive side, your safety blanket for you as a quarterback. Now you got to figure out everything else, which he probably will, knowing Patrick Mahomes. But you're missing Travis Kelce. And if he do play, he's banged up. So he won't be at 100%. He'll feel a certain way. Now you say, well, what about Detroit? Detroit has gotten better. Yeah, everybody's bullish on them, the way they finished last year. All of the hype, I get it, but they've gotten better. They retooled the entire secondary. They went and got Emmanuel Mosley from San Francisco, C.J. Gardner Johnson from Philadelphia as a safety position. They got Sutton from Pittsburgh. They drafted the kid out of Iowa, the linebacker. You look at the Gibbs, the running back from Alabama, they went and got. Jameer. So you start looking at the way this team is shaped. I played with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. So I know both of their makeup and who they are and what they do. And then you got to also offensively look at the quarterback, right, in Jared Goff. A lot of people, playmaker, didn't like Goff when he left the Rams. They got rid of him. He went to the Super Bowl. He can't play. Dude is a baller, man. Sometimes circumstances and situations that you're in doesn't present the things that you needed them to for you to be successful. He goes to Dan Campbell, and he goes to Ben Johnson, and now he looks like a totally different quarterback than his last stop, his last year with the Rams. So I feel like they can go into Arrowhead and upset the Chiefs. A lot of people probably feel that way but won't say it.
Okay, go, Mike.
Hey, listen, this game right here, we've talked about it all last year when they lost Tyreek Hill. How can you lose speed like that and continue to be a dominant force on offensively in the NFL? Let me tell you why. Because of that guy, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, no matter what play you call, even if that play's not there, he's going to give you a second, third, fourth play. That's how good he is at understanding and recognizing the defense. And here's the other important part, you guys, being on the same exact page as his quarterback. I always say, you give me 15 minutes in any locker room, I can just hang around, I can point to the guy and say, that's the guy right there. This team will not go without that guy right there. And I believe Travis Kelce is that guy. Yes, you have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can move around and do a lot of things. But if he doesn't have that person that he always knows going to be there, that he can find after all that moving around, then that's for naught. And Travis Kelce is that guy. It all comes down to how healthy Travis Kelce is for this season. For the whole Kansas City Chiefs, you ask me any one player on the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm taking Travis Kelce as the most important. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, his health will determine what goes on. And I do believe Detroit will have a great shot tonight. And it comes down to just how Jared Goff plays. Key, we talked about that with Trey Lance. Trey Lance was in the same kind of offense. That was a tough offense that Jared Goff was in with the Rams. And now you get him in another offense, you simplify a little bit, and you let his skill set take over. Now he's out of his head. Remember, Sean McVay was calling plays all the way down to the stop clock, to the play clock for him in L.A. Now he has his offense and going and doing well. I just want to see him do it again and again and again this year.
You know, Skip, when you remove Travis Kelce or Chris Jones from the lineup, it's easier to game plan. It's much easier for Aaron Glenn to game plan against those receivers than it is Travis Kelce. Aaron Glenn sitting there, a guy I played with, he now says, well, the tight end ain't in, and he ain't 100%. I don't have to do this. I can do this now. Offensively, Ben Johnson tells Jared Goff, you don't have to worry about that big fella in the middle. We can now do some things to take advantage with Jahmyr Gibbs of running up the middle, something that we said we were not going to do if Chris Jones was playing. So it's so much easier. So this is why I give him a chance to win. On top of that, you look at Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, playmaker, not the same, but somewhat the same as Deion Sanders in terms of the way Prime motivates everybody as a CEO type. He played in the league. He understands the league. He allows his coaches to coach, and he communicates with the players, and they'll run through a wall for Dan. They will absolutely run through a wall for him.
Right, and Detroit's going to make them play slow football tonight. Let me tell you, it depends on if Travis Kelce night. Now I can play that shell cover too. I can play that shell cover. Travis Kelce will eat you alive in a shell cover too. When you're saying, I'm not letting people go over the top. You just gave Travis Kelce the whole middle of the football field. He will eat you alive. Now, without Travis Kelce, if he's not healthy and he can't eat my middle alive, I can keep everything in front of me, keep me two deep safeties, and I'm saying let's play slow football and Detroit will have a chance.
To you guys' point, it opened as a 6.5-point favorite for Kansas City, and that line has dropped to 4.5. So somebody is saying Travis Kelce is not going to play, even though they listed him as questionable. First, they said it was a hyperextension. Then they said it was a bone bruise. My history with knees, and I got a whole lot of experience with knees, if you hyperextend, it's not a bone bruise. So did he bang knees with somebody in practice? I don't know. His history would tell you he will try to go tonight. But to both of your points, if he tries to go and he's hobbled in the least, he is finally mortal and coverable in ways that he never is, because they put 3 people on him and they can't stop him.
Well, one of the problems is running routes when your knees aren't good, it doesn't feel good. You don't have the explosiveness. You don't, right? Playmaker, you don't have the explosiveness. You can't drop your hips, get in out of break. And mentally, psychologically, it does something. Scared is the word. It does something to you.
All right, so what did I see from Detroit last year? They went 1-6 to start off, and they caught some serious under-the-radar fire. And they go 8-3 down the stretch, and they led the league in fewest turnovers, and Jared Goff threw only 1 pick in the last 11 games. That will work in this league. If you just flat out lead it in fewest turnovers, you got a shot in every game, and that's what started happening. And remember, they go to Aaron Rodgers for that last game, and they beat him, and he stunk in that game.
I knew you were going to go there, though.
Well, he did. He stunk because it was a playoff for the playoff game, sort of. And it was on the frozen tundra in December, and guess what happened? Maybe it had been in January by that point, but the point was 20-16, Detroit, the doormat went in there and beat Aaron Rodgers. That was the final nail in Aaron's Green Bay coffin, right? That was the game where they just said, okay, that's enough. We've seen enough. You are going to wherever we can trade you to, right?
And that's Dan motivating his players and getting them to believe that they could do anything.
So to me, Dan Campbell is the star of this team.
Absolutely.
He is the face of it, and he's sort of the Dion of it, if you will.
It was a lot. Think about it, Skip and Michael. When you go back to the initial hiring of Dan, it was kind of like, well, why would they hire this dude? There's other coaches. Sort of the same thing with Dion. Why would they give him an opportunity as other coaches? Well, they understand the game. We're not talking about recycling somebody from 1979 who coached, microwaving them. We're talking about a guy who's not too far removed as a player from the National Football League.
Did you know him when you played with him?
We played in Dallas together.
I know, but did you get to know him?
That's my guy.
Okay, he was your guy.
That's my guy.
Well, who is he? What is he?
He is exactly what you see.
Okay.
Right? He is a hard worker, relentless. He comes off the Parcells kind of at the bottom of the tree, hanging on a leaf type guy. He's not at the top of the tree, but he's at the bottom of the tree. He coached in Miami with them. He played in Dallas with us. He was in New Orleans with Sean Payton.
For a long time.
So he has all of that DNA instilled in him on how to coach and how to be a CEO and let everybody else do things, and you delegate to them. And when you need to step in, you step in.
And he is 6 feet 5 inches tall and 270 pounds.
He looks like he can still play now.
Yeah, he looks like he could play.
I love playing with Dan.
And he does have a little bit of a crazy streak in him in front of the media, right? I mean, a good crazy, right?
He had the long hair,
wacky.
Had the long hair, drove the big truck, the whole deal. I love Dan. I'm rooting for him.
Okay, so offensively last year, under the radar, they were really good because they were fifth in points scored last year because of that quarterback who can flat out ball.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top receiver in this league in the slot.
Top dude.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus ranked their receiving core as the 5th best in the league last year. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The defense, they had the worst pass defense in the NFL, which is why they tried to shore it up this year. And points allowed, they were 28th. They just weren't very good on defense.
They went out and drafted the kid, Jack Campbell, from Iowa in the first round. That's going to help them. I mentioned Emmanuel Mosley and C.J. Gardner. They went and got those guys.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson is serious.
That's going to help them defensively. And you got to remember, in these situations, young coaches like an Aaron Glenn, this is only his second year being a defensive coordinator. Now
Love Aaron Glenn, Key.
AG. Now You in your third
Love it.
year. It's different now. You've gone through the warts, so to speak. You've already took your bumps and bruises. So now you know, okay, I'm not going to do this. I need to do that. They know now I need to upgrade the secondary. That was one of our weakest problems. That's why you just rattled off what they did in the secondary defensively in the passing game.
Yep.
So I like everything that they've been able to do. I'm bullish on them. I don't know about going to the Super Bowls and all that sort of stuff. They can win the division. Right. They can certainly win the division because if you look at it, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in that division. Justin Fields still needs to figure it out. We have not seen Jordan Love. And Kirk Cousins is a nice piece, but it ain't. He's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying it like that, though, playmaker, but come on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, he throws for a lot of yards and, you know, some weird stuff will happen. He'll win a game. But it's Kirk Cousins.
Agreed.
And that's just why y'all mess with Kurt. I had Kurt as my last year's MVP because I knew that Justin Jefferson was going to ball out in that Cooper Kupp position that he plays now in Minnesota. I did. So I like.
How did that work out for you?
I'm not. But listen, he was in the race. He was in the race so late in the season. He just gave the ball to the other team a little bit too much late in the season. But he was in the race. Pretty good season going all year. I picked him because I knew somebody had to be throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, and I knew Justin Jefferson was going to put up some incredible numbers. So I'm not willing to give Jared Goff the nod over Kirk Cousins.
Oh, he's the best playmaker.
Right now.
Best,
but
best
that's why I said I want to see it again.
But he's the best quarterback in the division, man. You know that.
I want to see it again. Let me see him do that.
He took the Rams to the Super Bowl, man. He did.
Right.
He took the Rams to the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins ain't sniffed. Kirk Cousins ain't sniffed the Super Bowl.
No.
Has not sniffed it.
Wait. I would like to think Sean McVay took the Rams to the Super Bowl because even when Jared Goff left, he took the next quarterback to the Super Bowl.
Somebody got to throw it, though. Hey, somebody got to throw it.
Yeah, you're right. But there was a lot of things he was doing to help Jared Goff at that time. I'm with you. I think Jared Goff is in the right place. I like the system he's running right here, right now, and I want to see it one more time. Just let me see it again one more time.
I understand. No, I understand. I want to see things one more time, too.
Once upon a time, right out here at the Coliseum where you played college football, I watched Jared Goff outplay Patrick Mahomes on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
Do you remember that shootout?
Well, that was a game.
Did he outplay Patrick? I don't think
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Patrick threw for about 6 touchdowns that game. You don't stop.
Hey,
No, Skip,
somebody
stop.
get the numbers.
Get the numbers. Nick, bring them numbers down here because he trying me now.
But wait a second. You're picking Detroit tonight against the Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, because they're missing Travis Kelce and Chris Jones.
Well, if he's the guy you say he is, he should win this with one hand tied behind his back.
All right, man, never mind. I'm not even about to get into the conversation about needing help.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great players that need help. They can't do it all by themselves.
Yeah.
We saw Tom Brady his last year in New England have to go to Tampa Bay and get some help. So stop it, Skip.
All right, so
But
I'm with you.
But you guys bring up a great point, though.
Yes.
One last thing, you guys bring up a great point. Skip, I'm looking, since you brought up, but Patrick Mahomes in these moments have some incredible games. I watched him run around in that Super Bowl without the offensive line and try to make all kinds of plays. I can't wait to see what he does tonight with a hampered or even a not going Travis Kelce. You know he's going to dig in his bag and try to pull out something so they can win this football.
It's going to be tough, though.
By the way, I am with you on Kirk Cousins. Under-talented, overachiever. His helmet looks too big for him, right? He looks like a little kid out there.
Man.
He's a good player, man. He's a good player.
Oh, now you're...
Don't
okay,
stop.
No, I'm saying he's a good player.
Okay, enough of that.